Teachers' talks will resume next week.
And they're being put in a classroom with a teacher that's trying to manage 30-plus other students at the same time.
As parents of special needs kids tell us about the challenges in the classroom. Captured, finding a new home for a bear who wandered around a Calgary neighborhood. And shedding light in the darkness.
I was the worst at it. I saw bad things in my life.
A passion project by a Ukrainian-Canadian filmmaker.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Ian White.
Good afternoon. Bargaining will resume next Tuesday between teachers and the province, raising hopes the strike might end soon. But there's a lot to talk about with the two sides far apart on classroom support. Teachers held a walk this morning at McHugh Bluff on Memorial Drive to bring attention to their plight. The biggest sticking points in negotiations are class sizes, student complexities, and pay. The Alberta Teachers Association pointed to an OECD study that showed Alberta teachers are the most stressed in the world. The provincial education minister said in a statement that he hopes teachers will be reasonable and fair. Here's what the ATA has to say.
We've been listening to government say for a week or two now that the ATA leadership doesn't understand what the teachers are looking for. And teachers have created the initial proposal where a lot of these ideas have come from a year or so ago. Things like student-teacher ratios, salary ask, class sizes, health and benefits, the things that are you would normally bargain. So we're aware of what teachers are looking for.
Mark Villani joins us from Shouldice Park. And Mark, obviously this is a good development, but many parents are still struggling and students are not happy.
Yeah, that's right, Ian. Right behind me here, there are a couple dozen student athletes that are very frustrated without being able to play on the fields that they want to play on and be back in the classroom. Many of them saying that they miss their role models and that teachers deserve to be fairly compensated. Now, the longer this strike goes on, the worse it gets for students, but also for parents and families that are unable to find childcare, maintain their jobs, and ensure that their kids don't lose out on critical learning progress. It gets even worse, though, if you have children with special needs. A 17-year-old Victoria Godard-Richer has level 3 autism. She requires one-on-one classroom support, but her family says a lack of educational assistance and overcrowding in schools has made that an almost impossible task. Victoria is often being told to join in on other option classes like cooking or gym because no one is able to offer her instruction that she needs in a classroom setting. Her mother notes that the strike doesn't consider families with children on individual program plans, and the province's online curriculum doesn't meet the needs of students with intellectual disabilities. Some families say they're also already waiting years to access critical supports, including speech and behavioral therapy.
So when they get to school, they don't necessarily know how to communicate. They don't know how to manage all the sensory information coming at them because they aren't prepared. And then they're being put in a classroom with a teacher that's trying to manage 30-plus other students at the same time. So you're seeing a lot of behavioral issues, outbursts, injuries, self-injuring. It's really not a good situation.
Now, advocacy groups like Inclusion Alberta and Autism Calgary are also sounding the alarm. They warn that the province's $30 per school day parent payment plan is really not enough to cover qualified care for students with special needs. They say more of that money should have been put in towards educational assistance to help teachers manage this burden. Ian.
Thank you, Mark. The final report from a government-appointed panel on post-secondary schools has been released. It recommends funding be tied to outcomes, incentives, and rewarding performance. Tuition recommendations include setting a maximum amount and guaranteeing no increase of more than 2% for the duration of a student's program. The report also wants space to be provided for every qualified Alberta student who wants to pursue post-secondary education. It also calls for less government interference so schools can make the best decision for their institutions and students. The report was given to the Minister of Advanced Education in August. The department is still deciding which, if any, recommendations it will adopt. Police believe impairment and speed are factors in last night's multi-vehicle crash in the Northeast. Investigators say the driver of a truck ran a red light at 16th Avenue and 68th Street. The truck T-boned a car, then collided with another car. All three drivers were taken to hospital with minor injuries. Police suspect the pickup driver was impaired. Charges are pending. This is the same intersection where the province recently approved the reinstallation of automated traffic enforcement. Last year, there were 37 collisions reported here. A Calgary man has been charged in connection to copper wire thefts. Investigators say on August 5th, 5 telecommunications cables were damaged as thieves tried to get to the copper wire within. More than 1,200 people were left without access to landline, internet, and cable. Police say information from a witness led to mischief and theft charges against Justin Cecil Scott. Charges are pending against a second suspect, too. One person has been taken to hospital after a house fire in Martindale. It started around 3 this afternoon on Martinwood Road in the Northeast. When firefighters arrived, the fire in the basement had been put out. One person ended up with burns and was taken to hospital. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. A bear that's been wandering around a southwest community for days has been captured. After 3 attempts, Fish and Wildlife finally managed to tranquilize the female black bear this morning. Since Sunday, there have been multiple sightings of the Bruin in Oak Ridge, which is west of the Glenmore Reservoir. At no point was the approximately 1-year-old bear aggressive. Fish and Wildlife say because she was frequenting a residential area, it was best to relocate her. Once the bear's health is assessed, she'll be released in a rural area. And researchers in southern Alberta want to hear from landowners about any grizzly bear sightings on their property. That's because the bears and their dens are showing up in parts of the prairies they haven't inhabited for more than a century. Now, researchers are tracking exactly where and why. One southern Alberta rancher says coexisting with wildlife is nothing new, but the increasing number of grizzly bears calling the area home is concerning.
We always carry a gun now. We never used to. And we don't let like I said before, we don't let the kids wander off when they were younger without keeping them under surveillance. And you check your cattle more because there is more bear attacks. And so it's changed how we manage our cattle and manage our lives.
The Waterton Biosphere Reserve Association has launched a grizzly bear project. They want to connect with southern Alberta property owners who have found a bear den or suspect grizzlies are denning nearby. For more information, head to our website, ctvnewscalgary.ca. The Calgary Zoo says 2 of its great gray owls have died of West Nile virus. Caitlin and Arya both became sick and passed away suddenly on September 15th. Caitlin, a senior bird who hatched in the wild, had been at the zoo since 1997. Arya hatched at the zoo in 2013 and was just 12 years old. Great gray owls are highly sensitive to this virus and even with their annual vaccinations can succumb. As a precaution, zoo staff revaccinated and tested all remaining owls with negative results. The Federal Department of Fisheries and Oceans has given the go-ahead for a bridge in Kananaskis country. It will enable West Fraser Cochrane with its logging plan in the area. Construction of the bridge was stopped in 2023 because of concerns for threatened species like bull trout in the waters of the Highwood River. The Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society says the Department of Fisheries and Oceans continues to put the profits of resource extraction companies ahead of the survival and recovery of listed species. So Danielle, I guess we should just enjoy this wonderful weather as long as we can.
And take tomorrow off if you can, right?
That'd be great.
Tack on what you know is going to be a really nice fall day to your Thanksgiving long weekend because it's going to be quite different for much of Thanksgiving long weekend. It won't be like this. 16 degrees is the temperature, also our daytime high. So that's the current temperature at the airport. You can see by the live shot there. It comes with nice blue sky. It's a beautiful day. Another beautiful one tomorrow as well. Your 24-hour forecast is brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen, where you can win your ride. See dealer for details or visit fifthAvVW.com. And over the next few hours, the gusts may pick up at times up to 40 kilometers per hour, quieting down overnight and then back again tomorrow afternoon. That's going to carry our temperature to about 19 degrees for tomorrow with a whole lot of sunshine. It's different for the weekend. Wet snows in the forecast, much cooler temperatures. We'll talk about that coming up. Ian?
Thanks, Danielle. He's traveled from Ukraine to Calgary to Peru. Still ahead, a filmmaker bringing his unique perspective to a documentary on energy poverty. And Calgarians respond to the advance of peace talks involving Gaza and Israel. The deadly two-year conflict between Israel and Hamas could soon end. It's an emotional time for Calgarians connected to that region. U.S. President Donald Trump says Israel and Hamas have signed the first phase of a peace plan. All remaining Israeli hostages, dead or alive, could be freed by Tuesday in exchange for hundreds of Palestinians in Israeli jails. Israeli forces will also withdraw to an agreed-upon line. 8 Canadians, including the sister of a Calgarian, were among the 1,200 killed during Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack. Calgarian Timur Jaranda has lost 18 family members during Israeli retaliations in Gaza. After so much turmoil, many still feel uncertain.
It took too long for this to maybe reach a point where it might stop or pause, and it's very painful.
Our number one priority will always be to bring our hostages home to our family and our friends, and we hope to see that happen.
There's no agreement yet about contentious elements of a long-term deal, including Israeli demands that Hamas disarm and the complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. A Ukrainian Calgarian filmmaker is drawing from his personal experience living in a war-torn country for his latest documentary about energy poverty.
A big part of the world still don't have enough energy, enough fuel.
In the documentary, help is on the way. Mykola Pelikov traveled to a remote village in Peru that lacked electricity. Locals struggle without light, heat, and other basic needs powered by electricity. Crews captured the work of a Calgary-based charity installing solar panels. As co-director, Pelikov knows firsthand the impact of power outages imposed during war. He hopes to shed light where there's darkness.
It was hard, you know, because I have my background with the war started. I saw bad things in my life. I saw how people died too. But this is something completely new.
The film can be streamed for free at CanadaCanHelp.com. There's also a fundraiser set up for the charity featured in the documentary. It looks like a very worthy project indeed.
Yeah.
You had an interesting word earlier. The weather's going to be different for the long weekend. That could go so many ways, but the way you're going is a way people won't like.
Well, so, you know, some people like wet snow and colder temperatures, and they like driving in it. I can't, you know.
Or if you want to ski in a couple months, sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. People normally, if they're talking snow, they're talking skiable snow.
Yep.
Not the snow that's tricky to drive in, which is what's in the forecast for Thanksgiving weekend when a lot of people are traveling. So that's not the most ideal. Skywatch weather cam, a beautiful day out there. Temperatures look like this. We're in the teens, so we're a couple degrees above normal in most communities. So 13 is what's normal in Calgary, so we're a few degrees above that for our daytime high and our current temperature. And 17 degrees is the temperature in Medicine Hat, 16 in Lethbridge at the moment. Winds, for the most part, relatively calm, and as you can see by radar and satellite, it's all stable out there as well. This is a story once again for tomorrow. In fact, tomorrow even warmer because we're going to get a push of warmth from the south. Okay, let's fast forward this to talk about what's to come here. So late Friday, we're going to have this trough that will start to push in. That could mean late Friday night in some communities, especially in the far south, some showers. It will likely spark up some showers. Then on Saturday, clouds will increase. Rain late Saturday for the city of Calgary. And then we are looking at this cooler air mass really settling in, which as we get the moisture, that will switch over to some wet snow. So Saturday night and through Sunday is the bulk of the time when we're looking at temperatures being just in that right spot. So instead of rain, it'll be the wet snow. So tomorrow, again, nice. As we get into Saturday, you can see the clouds will be increasing. Late Saturday, we'll kick off with a little bit of rainfall in Calgary, and then we'll switch over to wet snow as temperatures drop below that freezing mark. Saturday night. And then this slumps to the south as well and carries into early Sunday morning. So how much can we get? Well, preliminary amounts, we're looking at about a couple centimeters for most communities, especially Highway 2. And off to the west is where we're looking at getting this wet snow. Calgary could see a couple. Again, a lot of that melting on contact with the ground because the ground is so warm. But it may accumulate a little in the grass, some rooftops, and then you can see more for the mountains and higher elevations. So Canmore could even see 13 centimeters, 9 for Banff. Longer range forecast looks like this, 19 degrees for Ian really likes that turkey. We're both giggling over here. Okay, 19 degrees for tomorrow, mainly sunny, and then showers kicking in Saturday afternoon. Still a high of 16, so still a little bit of warmth on Saturday, but then Sunday, 1 degree, and you'll see some snowfall carry from Saturday night in through Sunday morning.
The Premier has issued new mandate letters to the 4 ministers with health care portfolios. The new mandates include reducing wait times, transferring non-acute patients out of hospitals, and creating more choice for preventive services and screenings. 4 ministers are getting letters because the province has split Alberta Health Services into 4 separate portfolios. The outgoing president of the Alberta Medical Association says she doesn't have much confidence in the overhauled health system.
We've seen a system that was quite well integrated, albeit not perfect, but very well integrated, be completely dismantled. And now we have a system that nobody really knows how to maneuver. We really should only have 1 health minister and 1 mandate letter.
The 4 new ministers are primary and preventive health service, hospital and surgical health services, mental health and addiction, and assisted living and social services. It was a fiery pipeline break. Still ahead, a federal report into a TC energy break near Edson last year. PepsiCo posts better than expected results. Joining me is Robert Geary, investment advisor with the Pupwich-Carmeli Advisory Group. And Rob, the company behind Pepsi, Gatorade, Lay's chips, and other brands sees its market share improve.
Yeah, I think this is a good earnings report for them, and the stock rewarded them today up 4%. But I think, you know, you always look at the underlying of what's going on, and they had great earnings across the board, beat on top and bottom line internationally. And I'm looking at North America, their sales struggled a little bit, down 3%. So there's a lot of changes going on behind the scenes on Pepsi, on them trying to be profitable and increase sales in North America, and buying more health-conscious brands like Poppy and Celsius. So I think we're going to see that continue. The other thing they said that's been working overseas is smaller packaging, because then they can decrease the price point on the affordability side. So I expect further changes to come for PepsiCo, but it was a good quarter for them for sure.
In the meantime, Netflix is offering something else, video games.
I think this is very interesting because they've been offering video games for a few years now on the handhelds, like for phones and on their apps on iPads and the like. But now they're going and saying, hey, if the home entertainment hub is your TV, then let's focus on that. So they're increasing the availability for games like Lego Party and Pictionary on to the masses. On that side, you're going to be able to use your phone through a QR code mode as your controller. So I think this is going to be very interesting because they said the segmentation to phone apps and stuff like that you go to games on other apps and everything else. So now they're saying if we have the subscribers and they're going to the TV, let's keep them there for gaming.
All right. Thanks very much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Federal inspectors say a crack in a pipe caused a natural gas pipeline to rupture last year west of Edmonton. In April of 2024, a TC Energy pipeline ruptured near Edson. No one was injured, but it did spark a wildfire. The Transportation Safety Board report says pieces of the pipeline were found as far as 200 meters away from the site. The report says pressure had built up on the crack, which caused the rupture. The crack was detected 2 years earlier, but was classified as non-reportable. The province and teachers are heading back to the negotiating table. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Ian. Talks will resume after Thanksgiving, and they are expected to focus primarily on classroom supports. Teachers have been on strike since Monday. Coming up at 6, we'll have reaction from students who are rallying this afternoon at Shoaldice Park. Also ahead, it was a summer to remember for Calgary ski jumper Abby Strait. She is also an athlete to watch for the upcoming Winter Olympics. We'll have her story coming up at 6. Ian.
Thanks, Tara. Parks Canada has completed geotechnical data gathering at the site of a deadly rock fall in Banff National Park. On June 19th, 2 hikers were killed and 3 others injured when rock gave way at the popular hiking spot around Bow Glacier Falls. Parks Canada says the geotechnical data will be analyzed over the winter. That means the trail will stay closed with no estimated time of reopening, but it won't be until at least next year. Anyone caught in the closed area could be arrested and fined. We will get one more sunny day before the weather really turns over the long weekend. Right now in Calgary, it is mainly sunny and 16. Danielle has details coming up. You mentioned it earlier, the fact that people will be on the highway for a lot of them for the long weekend, and it could be a challenge.
Yeah, I mean, slick roads, not the best thing when it's a travel weekend. People seeing, you know, you have Thanksgiving, you have Friendsgiving. This is an important one, right? 16 degrees, current temperature, daytime high, a few degrees above the norm for this day of 13. 19 tomorrow. Tomorrow will be much like today, just even warmer. So stunning. Enjoy it as best as you can. Saturday in the morning, it might be quite nice, and we'll get up to 16 in the early afternoon. But then the winds will pick up, the clouds will increase. Showers start late Saturday, Saturday afternoon, and then switch over to wet snow Saturday night and through Sunday morning. Check out your daytime highs. Sunday 1, Monday drier, but still just a high of 0.
Thanks, Danielle. Giraffes are benefiting from some brush removal east of Calgary. The Calgary Zoo recently partnered with the Nature Conservancy of Canada and workers from Vermilion Energy. They removed a bunch of invasive caragana shrubs from a conservation easement property. A truckload of the leafy branches was delivered to the zoo, where the giraffes happily ate them. Thanks for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.